Hey guys, Dan Howman, I'm back with another Eternal Evolution video. Today we're going to do some team building stuff. I've had a lot of requests to make a team building video. Basically, what teams am I using, how I build a team, how I make synergy between different heroes in the game, all of that good information. Alright, let's begin. So very first thing, let me just go real quick into the dungeons really fast and just show you what you can do to clear these in the very beginning. Now, Disa Caves is going to be really easy. If you have someone like Emma. I know a lot of people aren't big fans of Emma, but she's a great hero here. There's a lot of different things you can do. Most beginners are going to have someone like Emma. They're going to have someone like Taylor, and maybe they're going to have someone like Botmark. So what you can do is you can put these three heroes in here. These are going to be your single target damage. The reason why these are good is because Disa, you need a lot of hits on the boss. So I'm going to use Brynhild, which whenever I'm dealing a lot of hits, I deal more damage. I'm going to use some of these prototypes. Now there's a bunch of good ones. You can use Praying Eyes. You can use Red Thorn if you happen to have one built up. You could use Vision Stone because we have Botmark in here. If you're not using Botmark, don't use Vision Stone. You could use something like Dark Summit. You could use something like Soaring Medallion. Okay, so there's a lot of different prototypes you can use here. For the last two, they don't matter as much. Flashpoint's going to be a good one no matter what if you're healing. If you're really early game, you can use something like Coronation. But what you're going to do now is you're going to put in a healer. You can do this two ways. In the very beginning, the first way I was able to beat Disa 15, I used two healers, okay? By the way, I'm gonna start with beginner teams, then I'm gonna move to more advanced teams near the end of the video. So in the beginning game, you can either do something like this and have two healers. If you're really early game and you don't have two healers, you can use an Artis up front as your tank. You could use a Na Fen as a tank. You could use a Leo as a tank with one healer. You could use a lot of this. I mean, you could use Crete. You could use whatever. That's going to be the basic teams. Once you get really fast, you don't need a tank and a healer. You just run all-out damage, and you can do it very quickly, okay? That's Disa Caves. Sensaro, you want AoE heroes, so there's a speed team with assassins. You can see my assassins here. They do it like very, very quickly. But basically, you want AoE damage. So in the beginning, if you have Daniel built, and especially if you have Daniel EX30, I mean, he can solo this by himself. But summoner teams work really well here if you're trying to push early and you've focused on some summoners. If you just have Ampu and Daniel, even if they're both at EX20, I'm sure you'll be able to clear this no problem. Assassin's kind of just a speed team. I think that team's like 5 seconds for me. Terradome, you're going to want melee heroes, so assassins work great here. Two other heroes, again, summoners, are very strong here is Daniel and Skewer. Ampu doesn't really work. No one else really works. I guess Muka works. You can manual Senway to put it in there, but that's kind of annoying. You can also jump Taylor in here manually. So again, for this one, I'm using just an assassin team because it's a quick team. Normally, I do have someone like Leo in here, but okay. So that's that team. I will go down real quick to these teams. So Roulette of Truth is assassins. Crimson Rot is an AoE team. You're gonna want basically. This is a weird team. This is not my normal team. I actually have a Crimson Rot preset. I'll go through some of my presets after this for sure. Oops, didn't mean to hit edit. I forgot you can edit now from here. So I can just deploy this. So this is kind of like what my normal team would be. Some AoE damage. You don't even need Leo. You can use two healers and a couple... you can use Rez in here to reset. Rez is another support that can be quite good. So you can also, you know, do something like this. And you can have support. You can do something like this. If you have a strong hero like Nord, you can put Rez on him. If you don't know, Rez buffs the person in the same row. If no one is in the same row, he buffs the highest attack. I'm using the Commander Grace, which is going to be very good. And this Flowing Rune is really good when you're using AoE energy heroes. It basically gives them more energy whenever they hit 3 targets. So that's going to be good as well. Okay, this top one, Mirage Space, is basically a full summoner team. Summoners are going to be very strong. They're in a lot of your teams right now. Crimson Abyss, full summoner team. I guess I'll go really quick through Ancient Altar just because So for most people, you don't want to focus too much on this very first boss. I just use food here. If you do have Leo here and you want to kill the first boss, Leo is really going to help you do that. You can use a bunch of Vanguards here. You can use a triple Vanguard team with healers here. Second team, you're really going to want to use summons. Third team, you're going to want to use single target damage. I only need like 2 heroes. I think or 3 heroes. I only use this team when I'm trying to 3-key. Just those 3 heroes, and that's all I need. Single target is the best for the last altar boss. Okay, so that's a lot of my standard teams for dungeons and all that. Let me go through my arena teams, and then I will start talking about some other teams that I use in Twilight and Story Push and stuff like that, okay? So in regular arena, there's a couple different teams that you can use. Obviously, I was messing around with some hunters. That's not what I normally use here. There's a lot of different teams that work here. So one of the common ones is something like kind of something like this. So one of the common teams is a summoner team that basically everyone's using, and if I do support, we're going to put res in here, we're going to do this. This is basically one of the very common teams that people are using in here. Now, you can also swap out Hagridon for Enlighten. You can also use the summoner prototype here because your Leo is probably going to die fairly quickly, and then you're relying kind of on your summoners to do most of the damage. Oh, I don't mean to have Mazrani in here. You should actually have Sorvali in here. So okay, basically the same team my enemy's team using. Most people are using this team, so it's kind of just a crapshoot because you're kind of just countering. There's another like energy team that you can use that works fairly well, but you need a lot of light gap stats and stuff like that. I don't have my team geared for PvP right now. I'd have to swap their gear. I have them in PvE gear. So yeah, that's kind of that. There's a couple different teams you can use. There's also some fun teams that I've been messing around with. Do I have any of those teams here? I don't. There was another team that you can use where you basically have you have Boar up front to throw the enemy backwards. You have Grace. I have a good Grace. +1, all skills. Okay, we'll just do that. Grace with Flowing Rune with... this one doesn't matter. You just use whatever has the most stats. So for me, it's Prism Amulet. For most people, it's probably Company of Heroes. But use that. And then I think we use Flashpoint here. And I'll show you what this team is. So basically what I do for this team is... Again, my team is not in PvP gear, so this probably won't even work. But I'll just show you the team just kind of for fun. Use a team like this and like this and like this, and you basically have this team works pretty well. Now you can also swap out Ravenna for someone like... No, you probably want Ravenna because you kind of want the triple Vanguards here. I mean triple energy. So let's call this 3 energy team. This is one that does work in PvP. So let's let me just go like this. Let's hit deploy. There you go. So this one works sometimes. Again, I don't have light gap sets on everyone right now, and I should have light gap sets, so we'll probably lose, but I'll just kind of show you what happens. You guys basically got born here just to kick back Leo. Oh, this is not the team I thought I was facing. I'm facing a triple Vanguard team. I thought I was facing a summoner team, but that's okay. It'll probably still kind of show you what's going on here. I'm gonna lose my Northion, I think. Maybe not. Okay, so kind of a similar team. You use Boar just to knock Leo back, but I didn't even think I was facing that team. I thought I was facing a summoner team. You know, let me just go down here. All right, so this is like the normal team. So this energy team can work against this. Again, I don't have light gap sets on my Nord or my Luke or my Ravenna, and I would normally, but there you go. Okay, we got a victory that time. So Nord does pretty good in PvP. He does even better if you have him in a light gap. Luke can be good in a light gap. You definitely want Rez in a light gap set. Ravenna, I don't know that I'd put Ravenna in a light gap, but I guess you probably could. So that's kind of arena. For Galactic Arena, I'll just kind of show you what my teams are. I can't look at my teams unless I do that. Okay, so I'll just kind of show you my teams real quick. I have a summoner team right here. You can see it. So you could put Muka front if you have Muka. You can put Skewer. If you have Skewer EX30, you probably want to put him front. Mine is not EX30. But then this is basically the summoner PvP team. You can see I'm using the Summoner Enlighten Commander. I'm using Dominant Nucleus. Actually, you do want this here. That basically whenever your summons get hit, summoners, it goes to the summons, okay? And then this one really doesn't matter because I don't have a healer in this team, so the third one really doesn't matter. This is just my triple Vanguard team, so I have 3 Vanguards and 2 healers. It looks like this person is kind of copying my team as well. Did this person just copy my entire team? This person copied my entire team. That's actually funny. This person literally copied my entire team verbatim. Okay. So then he basically copied it almost identically. That's kind of funny. Okay, anyways, and then my third team is Nord in the front. Again, he should be in a light gap. He's not currently because I have him in geared for PvE. And then I got a couple assassins here and Serena for some heals. Okay, so this is kind of my normal Galactic Arena team. There's a bunch of different teams that work. You can use an energy team, that same one I was talking about, for your third team if you want. You can use a lot of different things, but there's that. Triple victory, nice. Okay, so that's PvP. Now let me talk about some of the other teams I haven't really talked about. Let me talk about my normal PvE push team and some other stuff, and then we'll kind of end the video. Let me just go through some of my preset formations and talk about them. So triple Vanguard team is one that I've been using a little bit. Now I don't know that Guan use any better in here. For content where you don't care that creates pushing people around like PvP and stuff like that, you can use this team. But yeah, this is just a normal triple Vanguard team. You do have to use Hagridon. That's the entire point. Most of these triple S commanders are infinitely better than the other commanders. So if you haven't got some of these, you're going to want to start getting some of these commanders. They're like way better, right? Because this is basically if you have 3 or more Vanguards, this happens. And there's a lot of those now that are quite good, right? So PvP summon team, I went through that one. Leo summoner team. Now this is a team sometimes I use in, you know, some of the content. Ampu is really good with Sorvali, so if you are using Ampu, you might want to put Sorvali with them. Daniel is just a great hero all around in the entire game. If you want to keep Leo alive, you kind of have to use one of the commanders that give him the shield, so that's Hagridon or Gautier. And you probably do want to use Pain Rune and Flashpoint. Those are usually my most common used, along with Prism Amulet if you have it. So if you want to keep Leo alive, that's kind of what you have to do. So the rest of these damage dealers and stuff in here are not really getting buffed by any of the prototypes or commanders. But yeah, okay. So that's my Leo summoner team. Energy Bond. So I use this in Twilight a lot. Normally I have a different energy hero in here, but we're going to swap him in now. You could also use Rez in here. You could also use 2 healers in here, but you need at least 2 energy heroes usually when you're doing Energy Bond in Twilight. Now you can use a summoner team, but if you want to use the traditional energy bond, this is something I use here. Again, Hagridon and the same exact prototypes just to keep Leo alive, because in Twilight, you got to keep your Leo alive, right? If he dies, you're stuck really hard. And this is just a good AoE team. Leo, and now that we have Nord here, he's going to be quite good in Energy Bond. So that's kind of my Twilight Energy Bond team. My Guild Hunt Whale team is this team here. It's Assassins with Masrani to heal. Gabal can also be used in Spider team as well, even with the new guy Nord, so that's quite insane. I guess that's probably a team I should put in here as well, but that's a good team for Guild Hunt Whale. I was just talking about Guild Hunt, so this one will be my Guild Hunt Spider team. Okay, so for Spider, what I do is I have a we're gonna have Nord in here, we're gonna have Ravenna in here. We're gonna have Luke in here. We're gonna have Masrani, and we're gonna have Rez. Now, you probably just want to do it this way, actually. Ravenna's kind of weird because her range is a little bit low. You might actually want to do it this way so that Ravenna can actually hit all the spiderlings. You might want to do something like this. The problem is you kind of want the energy heroes back, because what you want to do is you want to use Grace in here. Let me grab Grace. So I'm going to use Grace in here. +1 all skills. Okay, that's fine. You're going to want to use Flowing Rune because you're hitting the ads so much. You're going to basically keep on resetting. This one doesn't matter. Just use whatever the highest stats you have. This one, you can either use this one, Horn of Healing, or you can use Flashpoint. Doesn't really matter. So here's basically the spider team you can use. This one's good. And Nord does a ridiculous amount of damage. Now, you can also now use Gabal here. So if you didn't know, you can actually use Gabal here, and he will get some crazy damage for your Nord. So you can use this as well, and it works. I've seen people do like 5 billion damage just with Nord here. So this is another way you can do it. And then, you know, this one doesn't matter as much who's where. So yeah, this is another team as well. You could probably do something like this as well, if you wanted to. Doesn't matter too much. You just need a healer here. And Nord's going to do just a ridiculous amount of damage, right? So, okay, that's that. I want to leave. Please let me leave. Okay, there we go. So there's Guild Hunt Spider. Let me see, where else were I? Summoner team for Guild Hunt. Now, for the Turbine boss, I don't use Anpu in Turbine, and this team works a lot better for me. Senway, Kalaza, Skewer, Daniel. Anpu doesn't do a lot of damage in the Turbine boss. Even when you have to, and if you do, you have to have Sorvali in there. And this team just does more damage for me no matter what when I'm in Turbine. So this is my highest damage team for sure. Yeah, that's that. Guild Hunt, Summoner boss. Crimson Rot team, I already showed you that team. Story Push. So this is kind of a team I use for Story Push. Basically a healer. Now, you don't have to have a healer here. You can just put another damage in here. And you probably, honestly, you don't need Hagridon. You could totally use Grace in here. And you could swap out, you know, Masrani for another energy hero for sure. There's a couple different teams that work for Story Push, but you kind of just sacrifice Leo, and then Nord gets rolling. You use Res to keep on resetting Nord. Nord does a ridiculous amount of damage. So this is one of the Story Push teams. The other one, as I said, was using Grace and replacing Masrani. You honestly, if you're really high, sometimes you don't even need a healer in there. You kind of just let Leo die, and then Nord can tank really well as long as he's in that Marauder set to give him some lifesteal. Okay. 3 energy team. This is kind of the team I was talking about in PvP. I guess I already talked about that team. That's fine. And that's basically all of my teams. So this is a lot of team building. You see a lot of the same heroes. You see a lot of the same commanders. You can see I'm either using 3 commanders, 4 commanders, and that's pretty much it, right? You got Cabal, you got the new energy, you got the Vanguard one, and you got the Summoner, right? So I'm using basically all triple S summoners. You see a lot of the same prototypes as well. And you see a lot of the same heroes as well. So that's going to be pretty much it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Just wanted to go through team building. I got a lot of recommendations on this video to make. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And that's going to be it. See you guys.
That's it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, hit the like and sub. Have a great day. Baby Lucas says, hey guys, hit that subscribe button and that like button. Yay! Hope you guys enjoyed the video. We got some other videos up top if you want to check out anything else. Have a great day, everyone. See you guys.